Welcome back. If you've just joined us, you're watching the news at 10 on Channels Television, coming to you live from Lagos. Well, some of you have already been doing that. We have some pictures that were sent in to us. Where are the pictures? Okay, now from Owerri, the Imo State capital, is the picture of an accident which our eyewitness reporter said was due to reckless driving. And sadly, he also reports that 2 persons were feared dead. Next is this photo of an illegal mining site in Shiwara Road in Ogun State. More dangerous is that the sand being removed is under high-tension cables, which could be a disaster to residents if the cable towers fall. Our eyewitness reporter is therefore calling on the authorities to do something about it. And from Poly Road in Ado-Ekiti, the Ekiti State capital, comes this picture of a fallen electricity pole following a rainstorm. And finally is this picture showing what our eyewitness reporter says is the federal road connecting Ekpe and Mokpa in Kogi State, and it's in bad shape. He appeals to the authorities to fix the road, which he says is a death trap. Well, thanks a lot for sending in contributions and pictures of events happening around you. Do please keep them coming. We move on, and there are more concerns from Nigeria about the xenophobic attacks in South Africa, this time coming from a former Foreign Affairs Minister, Professor Bolaji Akinyemi. Professor Akinyemi today condemned the attacks while calling on the Nigerian government to remind the South African government of the possible consequence on their investments in Nigeria if such attacks continue. The former foreign minister told our political correspondent that the government of South Africa is not doing enough to stop what he describes as a distasteful action by South Africans against fellow Africans, especially those he said helped them during the apartheid struggle.
I was involved in the anti-apartheid struggle as the Director General of the Nigerian Institute of International Affairs. I was part of those who came up with the idea of a liberation fund that we forced civil servants to donate monthly a percentage of their salaries. And then, for some reason, secondary school kids, university students voluntarily made a donation. What are they now talking about? That because Africans are taking jobs in South Africa. It is an African tradition. Do you know how many West Africans have jobs in Nigeria? Do you know how many Nigerians have jobs in Ghana, in Togo, in Liberia, in Sierra Leone, in Benin Republic? Do you know? We exchange population all the time. Nobody claims that because of that, you are then entitled to pick up guns, stones, scourges, and go on a murdering spree against fellow Africans. I think it is despicable. And the South Africans should be told that. And I think that Nigeria, especially, given the investment of South Africa here in this country, we need to sit the South African leaders down and tell them that there could be a cost to this kind of xenophobic behavior. It is unacceptable, it's intolerable. Our people should be killed over there, and we will not react because 6,000 people are employed by one of their companies here. I don't buy into that kind of mentality. If they're going to hurt our people and hurt the interests of our people, then they should be prepared for retaliation. They really don't tell their people in South Africa how much South Africa owes Africa for that struggle. They don't. The attitude of their leaders, the body language of their leaders, I have found terribly unacceptable. This is not the first time this will happen. What did they do the first time? I think the first time was 2008. What did they do? The South African government from 2008 should have seen this thing coming because it happened at that time. How many people did they take to court? And what steps? Was there a commission put in place? I think Nigeria should let the South Africans know that this thing is a quid pro quo. You treat us well, we treat you well.
of former Foreign Affairs Minister Professor Bolaji Akinyemi. Meanwhile, Nigeria's Consul General in South Africa, Ambassador Uche Ajulu-Okeke, says that 8 Nigerians have so far indicated interest to return home as a result of the attacks. Ambassador Okeke adds that the Nigerian mission is already working with them to facilitate their journey back home. The Nigerians are presently at the deportation holding facility at Limbola, South Africa. According to the envoy, leaders of the Nigerian Union in the 9 provinces of South Africa, in conjunction with the Nigerian mission in South Africa, have worked out a vigilance defense mechanism to protect Nigerians. The ambassador says that while the attacks have reduced, Nigerians have been advised to be vigilant in spite of the current development. Now let's move away from the attacks in South Africa to business over here. And ahead of the handover of government on May the 29th, the President-elect, General Muhammadu Buhari, has been hosting some foreign envoys seeking stronger ties with Nigeria. The ambassadors from Morocco, Equatorial Guinea, Iran and Israel met with General Buhari at the Defense House in Abuja, where they also congratulated him on his win. The Chinese ambassador to Nigeria told journalists after the meeting that his country is interested in collaboration in the areas of agriculture, infrastructure building, and other areas of investment. Now, the May the 29th date for the handover of government from President Goodluck Jonathan to the President-elect, General Muhammadu Buhari, remains sacrosanct. But this clarification is coming from the Minister of Information, Mrs. Patricia Akwashika, at the end of the Federal Executive Council meeting presided over by President Goodluck Jonathan. She explained that May the 28th is meant for the inaugural dinner, while May the 29th is for handover and Democracy Day. She also dismissed insinuations trailing the sack of the Inspector General of Police, Sulaiman Abba, saying that the President acted within his powers.
I want to clarify that 28th of May is not the date for handover. Handover and inauguration will take place on the 29th of May, which is also our Democracy Day. So please, let's get it right. We have started the transition. It's ongoing. We are handing over our departmental and ministry briefs to the office of the SGF, who would now prepare the handover notes. You know, when you have a transition committee, we have ours, and the incoming government has its own transition committee. They sit together and look at all these issues. The paperwork is what we are talking of, up to the 28th. Please, let's get it straight, that the President is still the President till the 29th of May, when Buhari takes his oath of office and resumes as President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. I said there will be a dinner. It's like an inaugural dinner that is done all over the world, and the President at that dinner might even give the incoming President an award or anything. At the dinner all over, it's just an inaugural dinner. And before that time, you don't expect us to carry our handover briefs to 29th of May. It's administrative. This is purely administrative, that we would start, the handover brief has even started. It will end on the 28th. Please, the handover brief by ministries, by parastatal, by the transition committee is ongoing. It has already started, but will conclude by that May 28th. And 29th is the inaugural ceremony proper, when the incoming president is sworn in as governor, as president of the country.
Minister of Information, Mrs. Patricia Akwashika. It will no longer be business as usual for electoral offenders, as the Acting Inspector General of Police, Mr. Solomon Arase, has vowed to prosecute culprits to curb the spate of violence during elections in the country. Now, he was speaking at the handover ceremony today following the sack of his predecessor, Mr. Sulaiman Abba. He announced that the Strategic Police Vision document and policing protocol will be developed to aid intelligence community partnerships and tackle high-level crimes. At exactly 3:45 p.m., the newly appointed Acting Inspector General of Police, Mr. Solomon Arase, arrived first to inspect the quarter guards at the police headquarters. He then moved with the fascinated crowd to attend the formal handover ceremony.
Please sit down.
The outgone IGP, Suleiman Abba, described the appointment of his successor as well-deserved, appealing to the police hierarchy to equally give full support to the new leadership.
I want to move on with my life. But while I'm doing that, I also want to seize this opportunity to appeal to those who, for any reason, we have offended, perhaps due to lack of proper judgment, to have an understanding of the nature of policing globally. And I want to urge you, it is not over yet. The elections are not concluded in at least 3 states. Give the new leadership more support than you had given me to get the elections through.
Mr. Arase then sees off the former Inspector General of Police before presenting his inaugural speech.
All the best.
Under my leadership, we shall work closely with INEC and other strategic stakeholders to ensure that such acts will not only be defined as intolerable, perpetrators will be identified, isolated, and brought to deserve justice to act as a deterrent.
Indeed, the acting police chief has only a few weeks to make his mark and only a year before his eventual retirement from the force. Nigerians now wait to see how much impact this short tenure would have on the country. Gloria Umezuke, Channels Television News. With less than 6 weeks to the end of the tenure of the Plateau State Governor, there are indications that the transition to a new administration may end on a strange note. While the All Progressives Congress Party is accusing the People's Democratic Party of setting booby traps for the incoming government, the PDP has denied such allegations, describing them as unfounded and baseless.
There appears to be a lack of mutual understanding between the outgoing and incoming administration in Plateau State, north central Nigeria. This is because the APC is not satisfied with some decisions and actions of the present PDP administration. The APC is accusing Governor Jonajang's administration of embarking on certain decisions that can put the incoming government at considerable inconvenience, embarrassment, and loggerheads with the people.
We have it on records that massive recruitment are already taking place in several ministries, government sectors, and the Plateau State University Bocus. 6 weeks to the exit of the Jang administration does not provide justifiable reasons to embark on major policy decisions that has the outgoing government owning over 95% of the civil servants backing of salaries.
In a swift reaction to the allegations of massive recruitment, the Plateau State Head of Service denied the action, stressing that there are procedures in employment which the Civil Service Commission has not embarked on since inception.
We have not embarked on any recruitment of recent. This is because every recruitment exercise has to do with an approval given to the MDA that is doing that recruitment through a memo written to the governor, and that is usually forwarded back to me so that I can arrange with the recruiting agency and the MDA that's benefiting.
As the two political parties continue to exchange words, there's a need for them to come together and harmonize for a successful transition, which will usher in the new administration so that the citizens will continue to enjoy the benefits of good governance.
When the news at 10 returns, Securities and Exchange Commission sets up Market Master Plan Committee to ensure best practices at the local exchange. That's on Business News. Do join us again.